Hey everybody, it's another gorgeous day here on my property. I wanted to quickly show you guys a couple of the projects that I've been making with the construction garbage here around this property. So we bought a kit home and basically came with a whole bunch of just lumber, spare lumber I guess, just for framing up a few of the things that weren't included as prefabricated kits. So ended up getting quite a bit of lumber left over, and then there's a lot of cutoffs, like from when you're cutting the plywood for the roof. There's some angles there and whatnot. So these were the boxes that the contractor or the Maisel that piece kit came in. So I got this one full of cardboard. So this is all for the garden. This is all future firewood. And then this box here is pretty much full of plywood cuts. So here's one thing I made. And I've been making quite a few different shapes and purpose pallets, but this one is a pallet specific for my wood chipper to dump into the pallet. So I'll be showing you guys some chipping videos and you'll see this thing in the back. But I just made this all with just leftover scrap. So this was a scrap piece, and as I'm building these things, right, I just pick through my pile and whatever looks like the right length. And so this is just a, I'll show you guys the back here, basic thing. And the idea of it is this part here that goes backwards. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the center of gravity of the wood chips as far back as possible, so that when I'm trying to lift this, it's a little bit easier to lift than if the weight's out front here. So I'll be aiming my chipper probably here, and the pile will build like this. And I tried to make it as wide as I could, but not really deep, because if I put the weight further out towards the front here, then it's harder for the loader to lift it. So by having all the weight set back, and then this little part here, right, I push the weight, then as I'm lifting this thing, I should be able to get quite a bit of wood chips in here. Okay. I don't know how well it's going to work yet, but I'll show you guys that in a future video. But that's number one thing I built. The second thing I built was these firewood pellets. So these are really handy, okay? And I got some big plans for these pellets. So basically what this is there's 8 of these 2x4s cut at 22 inches long, okay? And then on the bottom here, there's 4 little corner pieces. These are 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch, okay, on each corner. And then I just got, this is a 1x4 on the bottom, okay. The pallets is 30 inches wide, so there's a piece of plywood under there that you can see, 30 inches wide. That piece is, I think it's 12 inches long. And then there's another piece here in the middle that's 6.5 inches long. And then you'll see from the top here, it's just 1, 2, 3, 2 on ends. And so there's my 8 22-inch long pieces of 2x4. And then trying to get the shadow out of there. And then I just got the rail at the top here that holds everything together all around, okay? Very, very simple, all built out of construction garbage. So the reason it's this shape is I calculated basically the amount of wood I could get inside this pallet, green wood, okay? And then I didn't want something too wide, because I don't want to have to make my trails in the woods too wide to go get my firewood. So I made this pallet a little bit more narrow. That's why it's 30 inches. The wood in it is 12 inches long, okay, because my fireplace, so I can put 16-inch wood in, but 12-inch wood, I can stack the wood this way or this way without any issues and risk of things falling, the wood falling on the door. So I went with 12-inch, so I got 2 rows of 12-inch. Basically, each of these pallets works out to about a 12th of a cord. And to cut my wood exactly at 12-inch, I made this little jig, which basically these pieces are each 12-inch. And I try to cut my wood at around 4 feet long. And then I go through, and because in the back here, I can have some of the wood stick out a little bit. So these, the pieces of wood that are piled in here, they could be anywhere between 12-inch to say 14-inch. Okay, so even if my wood is sticking out a little bit here, it's fine. I just cut it and I try to get close to 12-inch out of it, and then I'll just play in the jig here to get the right width. And then we bought this Shelter Logic, which is a seasoning shed. It's about maybe $170 Canadian plus shipping. Shipping was expensive, $50 some. COVID and whatnot, and shipping stuff in Canada is usually a bit more expensive. If you're in the States, you can probably get this quite a bit cheaper. But this thing works really, really great. We're really happy we bought this. You can see here this hole right through. Okay, so this is a ventilation hole. This acts like a greenhouse. Okay, so you can see sun does make it through here pretty good, and it gets warmer in here. And you can see, you know, my wood is really cracking here, so that means it's drying really well. And this is only 2.5 weeks ago, maybe. So I've got 5 pallets in here. Okay, and the way I made them is this bottom piece here just sticks in a little bit, and it fits between these two 2x4s here, so I can stack them 3 high. So that's the firewood solution. Oh, so imagine 3 of these basically stacked up. What I'll be doing in the winter is I'll be using my forks on the tractor to move the pallets right from the seasoning shed to right here, right next to the door here. So in the winter, my wife will just come out, she'll go in the pallet, grab some wood, take it right into our fireplace. So, and then to match the house, which has these peaks here, I use some leftover garbage to make this panel here. So this will just be a side panel, and this was just made of leftover 45 cuts that the contractor had done. It was already pre-stained, so anyways, I just trimmed the bottom off, and I made this panel so that it'll be like just covering the side of the pallets, so it'll look from the road, it'll match the rest of the house. So this would be nice little decorations, and then my wife, of course, will be putting like Christmas decorations all over this thing and making it pretty. She's really good at making things pretty. I'm really good at making a mess. So I hope this gives you an idea, some ideas. The pallets for the firewood work really great. It's a really great way to move your wood, and pile it once. That's the motto I'm going with. I'm trying to do things this year, so I saved myself some time, and then by putting everything on pallets, I'm touching the wood once. So, and it makes it easy to, if I want to empty my Shelter Logic, great, I can just move all the pallets out, and if I want to get to the hardwood in the back, so I can do that fairly easily. So we gotta use our toy to its maximum potential, you know. So if you got a BX23, I'd say get yourself some pallet forks and have some fun.